The edible insect market has reached $400 million and will grow at a record pace. Insects as food and its ingredients are not the distant future, as it may seem. There are already a number of enterprises around the world that grow insects for animal feed and produce products for humans from them. Functional food, protein bars, and bread. The world's population grows by 70 million people every year. Many people already suffer from malnutrition. According to experts, in 2017 the number of hungry people was 821 million. By 2050, the annual deficit of food protein will be about 30 million tons. Why insects? Of the three main food components that make up the human diet, simple carbohydrates are the least scarce. A shortage of fats and complex carbohydrates, dietary fiber, is felt in a number of countries. However, the most acute issue is protein starvation. Of the 7 billion people currently living on Earth, approximately half suffer from a lack of dietary protein. Its total deficit on the planet is currently estimated at 10 to 25 million tons per year. Currently, about 70% of all agricultural land is used for livestock farming as a traditional source of protein, and 30% of all land is occupied by livestock farming. A third of these land resources are used to grow feed for the livestock itself. Given the current rate of consumption, by 2050, instead of today's 70 billion heads of farm animals needed for food by humanity, 100 billion heads will be needed. According to experts, the production of 1 gram of protein from beef or lamb takes more than 1 square meter. One day we may simply not have enough land to produce animals for food, the expert says. It is also impossible to ignore the fact that meat production has a serious negative impact on the environment. CO2 emissions from cattle alone amount to 7.1 gigatons per year. Agriculture accounts for more than 10% of greenhouse gas emissions resulting from human activity. Accordingly, the growth in traditional meat production will exacerbate this problem. In this situation, humanity is forced to look for other types of food, and above all protein. Over the past 15 years, a separate term has even emerged in the field of alternative sources of raw materials, non-protein products, novel protein foods. They are based on plant protein and microorganisms, says Osmakova. Such products are already widely represented on the Asian market in the form of tofu, seitan, soy meat, as well as lean products based on lupin. In addition, there are drinks on plant protein, soy, nut, oat milk, and others. When talking about alternative protein, 3 types of products are meant: cultured artificial meat, plant-based meat, and insects. Test tube meat is one way to obtain protein. For example, a research project is being implemented in the Netherlands in which stem cells are extracted from a pig embryo and grown into muscle mass in a bioreactor. Such meat is offered primarily as an alternative to minced meat, croquettes, and other. Another option for a protein source are insects, locusts, crickets, caterpillars, beetles, ants, bees, wasps, termites, butterflies, moths, and others. This class of animals is distinguished by high fertility and the ability to reproduce en masse. Recently, interest in insects as a source of highly digestible protein, fat with unique properties, antioxidants, immunomodulators, raw materials for obtaining medicines has been growing all over the world. Some species can be kept in artificial conditions. This allows them to be used as new industrial producers to obtain physiological, biochemical, and genetic characteristics of a specific crop to control the processes of bioconversion of substrates on which insects develop, and to evaluate the qualitative and quantitative indicators of the product of processing their biomass. In 2013, a study was published in which, as it was claimed, of all the methods of obtaining protein, scientists have focused on insects. The authors of the document called on people to actively use them as food. There are several reasons for this. Insects are a healthy, nutritious alternative to staple foods such as chicken, pork, beef, and even fish, the study says. In some insects, the proportion of protein in the total mass reaches 80%. They are also rich in other useful elements, fats, calcium, iron, zinc. For example, the iron content in beef is 6 milligrams per 100 grams of dry weight, while in locusts it can reach from 8 to 20 milligrams per 100 grams. The completeness of the protein of insect biomass is comparable to that of animal proteins, fish, meat, eggs, and milk. For example, the larvae of the mini mealworm, The flower beetle and the zoophobus contain all the essential amino acids in quantities necessary for humans. The protein content in insect biomass is, according to various estimates, from 7 to 48%, in beef from 19 to 26%, in tilapia from 16 to 19%. Insects are already a traditional part of many regional and national diets. At least 2 billion people eat 1,900 species of insects. The largest number of edible species live in China, Thailand, India and Mexico. Compared to traditional farm animals, insects consume far fewer resources. For example, producing 1 kilogram of edible insect protein requires 500 times less water than growing 1 kilogram of beef protein. Insects promoted as food also emit significantly fewer greenhouse gases than most animals, on average about 613 times. Methane, for example, is produced by only a few groups of insects, such as termites and cockroaches. Ammonia emissions associated with insect farming are also much lower than those associated with the production of conventional livestock, such as pigs. Because insects are cold-blooded, they are very efficient at converting feed into protein. Crickets, for example, require 12 times less feed than cattle, 4 times less than sheep, and half as much as pigs and broiler chickens to produce the same amount of protein. Insect harvesting, farming is a low-tech, low-capital investment option that provides access to protein to even the poorest sections of society. That's all we wanted to share with you in this video. We're not asking you to throw out all the food in your fridge and start eating bugs and stocking up on insect cooking guides. We just wanted to expand your understanding of what's edible a little bit. Leave your comments below this video if you really think that we'll all switch to eating insect protein in the near future. Or is there enough space on the planet and its population is not as large as the authors of numerous articles and reviews often try to convince us?
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the fascinating facts we shared in this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. Your support helps us bring more interesting facts your way. Turn on notifications so you never miss out our fresh content. Until next time, keep being curious.